The incredible life story of Greg and Emma will not leave you indifferent. They studied together in those distant years. They were students at one of the universities. He wanted to become a physicist, and the girl planned to connect life with chemistry. She and her friends were standing in the lobby of the university when an interesting young man literally rolled down the stairs. He was statuesque, tall, big and shaggy, and there was a lot of hair on his head. That's when she noticed him. That's how they first met. And then there were different parties where they could get to know each other better. Gradually, between the young people began a strong friendship, and later there were deeper feelings. When Greg confessed his love to her, he did it first. She just cried, without responding. And only a few days later, having sorted herself out, Emma wrote to him that she loved him too. Their feelings were so strong that already in the 4th year of study they decided to get married. The marriage ceremony was a secret, and both Greg and Emma knew that their parents would be against it because they were too young. Emma always said that she wanted children, but Greg did not support this desire. Therefore, when the girl did get pregnant, her husband insisted on an abortion. Because of this, Emma subsequently could not give birth to more children. Children young husband did not want. He had far-reaching plans in his career. Children could prevent their realization. Emma didn't mind at the time. After all, it seemed that the whole life was ahead of her. Happy, endless. But the series of bad events did not end there. The situation in Europe in those years was dire. The harsh circumstances were scattering people. They wrote touching letters to each other. But for a long time they couldn't meet. Greg even asked his wife to look for a man, to build a life with another. Life was going on. Emma got along well with a colleague at work, and they could form a couple. But soon the opportunity to see Greg arose, and Emma left everything behind and went for him. And this time it seemed to the woman that it was forever. She devoted all her free time to her husband. She enjoyed his company. But her spouse was becoming more and more distant from her. Despite promising to love Emma for the rest of his life, Greg was having a serious affair on the side. Emma immediately began to suspect something was wrong, even before her husband admitted it. And he had reason to. He had a young woman with whom they worked in the same team. Gradually their lives became intertwined and intertwined. He called her Sophie. She was destined to live with him all his life. But for several years he was in between two women. On one side was Emma, the faithful one he had once loved dearly. On the other was Sophie, without whom he couldn't imagine a life without. He had to make a choice when Sophie told him she was expecting a child. Only then did he finally talk to his wife Emma about divorce. But Emma wouldn't let go of her husband. She delayed the case in every possible way, trying with all her might to keep her husband and not give him a divorce. This agonizing process lasted for 3 years, completely exhausting all participants of the love drama. Emma even tried to take her own life, but doctors managed to save her. Emma, who had lost herself during the years of complete obedience to her spouse, didn't know what to do. She decided that without him she no longer had a place in this life, so she attempted suicide. Greg, who found his wife unconscious on the floor due to an overdose of sleeping pills, immediately called an ambulance. Emma was in a coma for 3 days. She managed to survive. Greg, despite his wife's suicide attempt, still divorced her and married his young and pregnant mistress. She later agreed to the divorce, but Greg and Sophie already had 2 sons growing up, and they were expecting a 3rd child. Life went on. Emma tried new romances and other men, but it wasn't the same. She continued to love him in her heart, Greg, despite all her attempts to forget him. And Greg was happy with Sophie and their children. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give it a like. Thank you.